Hi, good afternoon, folks. It's that time of the day, and we're excited to share this topic, doing business as, for our small business owners and companies out there. My name is Dan Kim. I'm one of the partners here in charge of our legal division and our business consultation services. So this is a topic that was brought up quite a few different times. And I know there's a lot of questions out there about it. We want to talk about all the DBAs and different kind of DBAs and the protections that it gives you and the different ways of looking at DBAs for your small business if you don't have one. So couple of some background information about our firm. I'm sure if this is not your first time in our YouTube channel and our live stream, you know a little bit about our firm and this lady here in this book cover. With more than 25 plus years of history, community CPA, and our team speaks more than 10 plus languages here, serving 10,000 clients worldwide. Ying here that you see on the screen is our CEO and managing partner at Community CPA. And our Community CPA is a regional full service CPA firm. And fun fact about Ying is that she served on the National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel. It's a fancy terminology, fancy title that IRS gave Ying to represent the taxpayers and to be able to understand taxpayers and work with taxpayers. So if you are interested in booking an appointment with Ying, feel free to go to our website, www.communitycpa.com, and you can book an appointment straight there and with our other partners, including myself. So Ying's second book is out. That earlier page was her first book at 8 a.m. starting up your business. And now her second book is out. And this 10 a.m. book is going to be talking about growing your business. And out of the pandemic and now finding our sense of new norm, I know many people are using this opportunity to grow and scale. So this book is going to help you navigate through that and find new ways and opportunities that are out there in this new world that we're living in. So no responsibility disclaimer is something I have to talk about. Community CPA, as part of our services to our valued clients, are providing these seminars in order for businesses to cope with the pandemic and beyond. We are not responsible for any damages that the attendees may suffer as a result of following any of the advice or information provided today. Although we are really doing our best to stay informed, the current situation is always changing, right? It's very dynamic and the information could change at any time. We want to make sure that you know, and our information and advice is not legal in any nature and should not be construed as such. So please make sure to consult with your legal counsel if you should need any legal advice. But without further ado, this is why you're here. Introduction to DBAs. Definition of DBAs. So you heard people toss around this term, this word DBA, doing business as, and this refers to a business practice in which an individual, sole proprietor, or a company operates under a different name than its legal name. Your legal name is like the names with the LLC, the names with the Inc., the names with the corporation at the name at the end of the name. But DBA is like your nickname. Someplace they call it fictitious name. I know in Iowa they call it fictitious name. Someplace they call it assumed name, right? In Minnesota, you know, I'm doing this stream today in our Minneapolis location here in Minnesota. In Minnesota, they have this DBA being called assumed name. So it is basically what the public sees you as, right? Walmart has many companies and structures, and they all have different inks and corporation in the back of the names. But what do we know it as? Walmart. Walmart is their DBA, it's their fictitious name, it's their assumed name. It's all the same thing. It's their nickname. So when an entity operates using a DBA, it does not change its legal structure and or entity type. Instead, it allows the business to conduct its activities and present itself to our customers and suppliers and public using a different name. So, it's very common, right, for people to think, oh, I have a DBA, and people will ask, oh, but I don't see the LLC. Oh, I don't see the Inc. And it's common because those LLC and those Inc. corporation, those titles go behind the legal name. So you wouldn't typically see that with a DBA. DBA is just a nickname, okay? So I wanna make sure that this slide really help bring that home and help you understand. It's very different from a legal name to a DBA, okay? So let's continue talking about how it's different. So overall, the legal business name is the formal and official name. This is the name you use when you file your taxes, okay? This is the name that, when you file your company with the Secretary of State, and this is your domestic corporation. This is your domestic LLC. And so that is the legal name, okay? The identity, the legal business name is the official name under which a business entity is registered with the government authorities, like I mentioned, Secretary of State, IRS. All these are your legal names, right? So this registration, the legal business name, must be registered with the appropriate government agency when establishing a business. So the legal name is tied with the Secretary of State, and then with the Secretary of State, once you establish your firm legal identity, then on top of it, like a sub account, right? You have a additional name listed under your legal name. You could have, let's say, DK Enterprise, okay? This DK Enterprise Inc. is your legal name. But in the legal entity, maybe I do many things. I do consultation, maybe I do baking, maybe I do marketing. And so all these different names I could have. I could call myself Dan's Bakery. I could have another nickname, DBA, and call it Dan's Best Marketing. And you see that there's DK Enterprise Inc. and then under it, all these different activities and the DBAs might follow. So, you might be wondering, then when can I use a DBA? When you're starting a new business, for sure. When you're expanding your business operation and operating multiple business lines, just like I mentioned, okay? Using a DBA is particularly beneficial when you have a legal business name that's just not specific enough, right? And it allows you to do many different activities, okay? And also, having a DBA could help you to hide your legal name. And some people don't want everybody in the world to know their legal name, so they have this DBA. So I talked about the different activities, right? And different lines of business. And it's really important that when you're just not sure, okay, to separate going back to my example, your consultation and marketing and bakery service, then you can do it all under one and use different DBAs so that you can, talk to different customers of yours with your DBA, but all fall under your one legal entity. So that is really what DBA is used for. And here you see that it could also be used to empower entrepreneurs to select a name that aligns with their vision, mission, and marketing strategy. Exactly that. So within the legal name, you have different DBAs capturing many different types of things that you want to do. That's okay, because you can have as many DBAs as you want. But here I want to insert, it is really about ultimately risk. okay? You want to be careful not to do too many things under one, because you don't want to carry all that risk under one company. So when that business gets big enough where you start to feel like, oh, I want to separately protect this one, then you go ahead and create another company and then pull that, activity out so that you have less risk. Okay. So you want to always keep that in mind. You can have as many DBA as you want and do as many different things as you want, but all really comes down to risk at the end. So importance of DBAs for small businesses. So brand identity, allow small businesses to create a distinct and recognizable brand identity. Flexibility. And so, instead of having to create so many different companies all at once, you can choose this DBA that represents your products or services and your target audience. Multiple business lines. So small businesses can operate multiple lines of business under the DBA, catering to different and diverse customer segments without creating separate entities. Legal compliance, registering a DBA, but helps make sure you're under compliance. So for instance, let's say you open up a restaurant, okay? And I'm gonna go back to my example, DK Enterprising. And I applied for a food license, okay? And I applied for a food license, and then these people came, okay? And they saw my menu, and then saw that it's called World's Best Chicken. Okay, what happens then? Then they will be like, oh, Dan, I think we're gonna need to have you redo your application for your food license, because your food license does not cover your name of the restaurant, because you are not called DK Enterprise. Your sign on your door and your menu and all these have different names that you're not registered for. So you need to register your DBA, and you need to put those DBAs in to those food licenses so that it can be tied together, okay? So it's very important. Has legal compliance involved? Customer trust. A professional and recognizable DBA instills confidence and trust among customers. I go somewhere and then I say, oh, DK Enterprise. They don't know what that is, right? So if you want to build your brand and you want to build your relationship with people and have that trust, you want to create something that they can see that it's a restaurant, it's a bakery, and kind of be able to use that to help bring that gap between you and your customers and have that trust established. Other importance of DBAs. So marketing and advertising. I told you about that. Google, when you have Google and you have those names, right, that you use, same thing as like the name you use on your menu for your restaurant. You need to have that all matching, okay, with the DBA that you register for your business. So separating personal and business assets help maintain a clear distinction between personal and business assets. This is important. This could actually help save you, right? So if you're doing your business under your personal name, and then people are going to try to sue you personally, right? But if there's like a DBA, and they might kind of not be sure as to who's the legal entity, and so there might be some homework for people to do to try to identify your business. So having this business be completely separate from your personal is important. And this is actually where I want to insert that you don't want to just get a DBA for your personal account, right? So that's called the sole proprietorship, where you do your business under your social. It's dangerous. If you're serious about your business, you need to create a company like an LLC, like a corporation, Inc., incorporated, like a corporations. And these entity types give you legal protection. So you need to create those first, then you need to get a DBA that could fall under to represent your different business activities that you have. So that is the protection here we're talking about. May offer some level of protection, but it's not always going to cover you for everything. So you need to create that separate company. Also, trademark is different. Some people think, oh, I have a DBA. They think, you know, their brand, their name is protected, but they don't realize that someone else could get the same name, and there's nothing you could do about it. But trademark is different, and I'll explain another time. We'll put this session together for a trademark, because that one gives you legal protection for you to be able to really protect your brand, really protect your name, right? And cost effective. This is why people go get DBAs, right? It's very, very affordable, and it's usually very easy to obtain. You just need to make sure you do it, okay? Next slide is about potential legal and financial implications. So legal and financial implications. Legal compliance. Filing a DBA ensures compliance with local, state, and federal regulations. Going back to my licensing example, you need to be able to tie them properly. Otherwise, you might lose your license. You might get fined. You might get penalties. Just really depends on the city government agency that you work with. Name conflicts. You know, without proper research, a filed DBA infringe on another business's trademark or created name conflicts. Liability and personal assets. Operating under a DBA, you know, doesn't provide the same liability protection as forming a legal entity. That's why I said you need to create an LLC. You need to create a corporation, okay? Banking and financing. You know, a lot of times the reason why people get DBAs is because they get a check, okay? This is when the realization comes and the light bulb comes on, you know, when you take this check that your customers wrote to you. Maybe they wrote to Dan's Best Advice. That's my name. And people come do the consultation, they pay me, and then they wrote a check to that name. I took it to the bank, and then you know my company's name, right? DK Enterprise. Don't look it up, by the way. It's not really a real entity, okay? But let's say that I do take that check to the bank. What are they gonna do? They're gonna say, sir, we can't deposit this. I am not seeing that this DBA is tied to your company, DK Enterprise. So you either can tell your customer to write to DK Enterprise, or you need to register your business so that you can accept this DBA and accept this check as your income. So that's something that you have to be mindful of. Contractual obligations. So failing to disclose a DBA on contracts or agreements may lead to contractual breaches, potential legal consequences. So you have to remember, this DBA is important. There are many compliance and renewals that you have when you have a DBA. So the renewal period is all different. Okay, so DBAs typically have a specific renewal period, which varies by state to state, basically. And it is essential to keep track of the renewal date to make sure that your DBA doesn't expire. There are states that it expires, becomes inactive, okay? Since I'm in Minnesota, let's talk about Minnesota. Minnesota has this requirement. You have to file your legal company annually before December 31st. Every year. Then the tied DBAs, tied assumed names in Minnesota, have to be also renewed before December 31st. Otherwise, your name can become inactive. And you may say, well, it's just public information and nobody really checks. The banks check, okay? And remember my example about them checking and making sure that DBA is there. If it's not there, might have issues. Business activity update. If your business nature, this activity of yours changes and expands beyond the scope of the original DBA, you might need to get another DBA. Okay. Name changes. In case of there's change in your DBA name, when you rebrand, you want to appear a different way, you just need to make sure you update that too. Okay, either you cancel the old one and recreate a new one, you change the old one to the new one, you need to make some changes. Address updates. Okay, the way people tie your DBA is through the address in which your legal company is at and your DBA is at. So, you want to make sure the addresses are up to date, and so that doesn't bring up any more confusion for people. So, I hope today's session about DBA was helpful, informative, and if you have questions, we want to hear from you. And you can always email Catherine@communitycpa.com or call us at this number. We're open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30. And I want to hear from you. Go to our website, go to our YouTube channel. And if you have further questions, let us know. We want to hear from you. Your questions, your thoughts, concerns are what drives us. It's the reason why we're here. And it's the reason why we are able to get so many of these contents and share with you. So don't be shy, let us know. And I hope you found today's session to be helpful. I look forward to visiting you again here in the near future. And thank you again. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you soon.